We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome back to Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, right. I forgot to put the caption on, but it's okay. We'll deal with that later. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Live on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are relatively on time tonight. Yes, indeed. We're aiming to do that for the new year. As you can see, if the Arsenal kit is on, then my team has won. In a way, shape, or form. There it is. 2-1 win over Girona today. And off into the round of 16 in the Champions League. So it gives us a couple of days off so we can take the rest. Hopefully we can bring a player in before the deadline. That is on next Monday, the transfer deadline, so that we can be fortified for the task to come in the Champions League and also in the Premier League. Well, thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, indeed. New haircut in, and we begin here, people, with part 2. As you can see, the haircut, very, very nice. Shout out to my man, Kolor from Kolor Barbers. Jesus, Michelangelo in this piece. Anyways, so we're going to get on with this thing here on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We got today's show, then we have tomorrow's show, where we show how black men, particularly in the United States, but definitely, which is a barometer for that around the world, have improved in the income stakes, which we must give kudos to them because we've asked to be confident, intelligent, and assertive, and looks like we are doing it. So shout out to us, and we will be talking about that tomorrow night on Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. But back to it as we get on into it. Thank you very much for joining me here. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let me just fix the IG camera here. Bang, we are good to go. Bish, bash, bosh. So let's get into it quite quickly. Tonight it's all about Lily Phillips, Bonnie Blue, and the OF Corn Race to the Bottom. Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna find out about the physical tolls of these ladies and their bodies. Remember, if you need a little remedial course here, what happened last week is we highlighted what has been done so far in this battle, this feud between Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, in which Lily Phillips slept with 100 in which, in synopsis, Lily Phillips slept with 100 men and wished to sleep for 1,000, but Bonnie Blue came in and interrupted that streak, and she slept with 1,000, actually slept with over 1,000, and yet the gauntlet has now been thrown down at Lily Phillips' high-heeled shoes, and she's been asked if she's going to make good on the promise of sleeping with 1,000 men, which I believe she will, but, both are gardening tools, so I would not doubt it as such. But anyways, all this is in aid of differentiating themselves from the pack within the OF space, and quite simply, it's degeneracy at its finest here in 2025. And I saw another film yesterday by It's Complicated. Do shout out to It's Complicated yesterday. I may highlight that going forward in 2025, probably in the next week or so. And it's about how porn stars differentiate themselves in the pack, and how indeed they are they deem themselves as special, but this video says different. So we may run into that again in the following weeks and following weeks ahead. I would say hopefully next week we'll cover that topic. Well, let's get into this one. Let's find out about part 2. We're gonna consult first into my browser here and here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me at Talk Talk Live. We're going to consult first with Dr. Chris Rayner, you're not your average orthopedic surgeon, a man from these parts here in the 6th, and the GTA period, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Chris Rayner, the orthopedic surgeon, not your average surgeon. He's doing wonderful things in YouTube streets, up to 674,000 subscribers, but his content is quite good, and I'm an avid consumer of said content, no diddy, and yeah, he's doing wonderful work here. So we're gonna let it roll on here on this topic, in which 100 men in 24 hours: the shocking truth about Lily Phillips' OnlyFans stunt. So he's gonna take us through what are the physical tolls that Lily Phillips went on into, because last week we discussed the psychological tolls. If you are reminded, if not, go back to that video that we did last week. It's up live on Talk Live, live on IG, YouTube, on YouTube. And I will be putting out a short tonight regarding these two parts and what these ladies are doing to their parts, quite simply. But let's get into this here with Dr. Chris Rayner. 100 Men in 24 Hours, the shocking truth about Lily Phillips' OnlyFans stunt. And let's get into it. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's get back into it. Here we go. Bang, bang, and bang. That's what I want. So I leave it with Dr. Gaynor. Let's go.
You know what you're getting into if you choose to participate. STIs involve the trans...
A few of them will have STIs.
While she prioritized partners with STI tests, she acknowledged that this still doesn't fully eliminate the risk of contracting.
Let's rewind this back for a second. Let's go with this here. Okay. That should be good.
Active a sex life as Lily's is sexually transmitted infections, or STIs. They're even common amongst regular sex havers.
I mean, there's a decent chance that one of them is going to be dangerous. One of them might have a weapon, have a criminal record. A few of them will have STIs.
While she prioritized partners with STI tests, she acknowledged that this still doesn't fully eliminate the risk of contracting something.
Like, you can never 100% know if they've had an STI test, and even if they had, they could have slept with 10 girls in between the test and things like that.
As she says, you know what you're getting into if you choose to participate. STIs involve the transfer of pathogens, bacteria, viruses, or parasites through sexual contact and can affect the reproductive organs, skin, and mucous membranes, which are moist, thin layers of tissue and are extremely vulnerable to infection. STIs are typically linked to not using condoms, so Lily made sure they were used during any vaginal intercourse. But for oral sex, no protection was used. Many were shocked by her lack of sexual knowledge considering her line of work. She didn't know that HIV is transmitted through bodily fluids, so she was letting men ejaculate on her face and in the mouth without a care in the world. How were the blood clots?
Yes, indeed. You cannot start out better than that from Dr. Chris Gaynor. Yes, I want a blood clot. You know what? It just, you lose any sense of decorum and any sense of education through your medical background. And you just got to say it. I want a blood clot. What are you doing allowing yourself to be ejaculated on for you to give oral sex to these gentlemen, not knowing if these guys have been, you get a test, but not knowing what their sexual past is. They are not given thorough tests the day of this 100 men marathon, quite simply, and you're opening yourself to a huge amount of STIs. It is highly dangerous, highly just irrational and insane for a woman to walk into this with her eyes half open like this. But she's 23. She thought, oh, you can't get sex. You can only get sex through vaginal contact. No, you can get sex, as they said, through oral contact, through any cut or through any orifice within another person. So it's a zero-sum game. Why would she walk into this eyes open? It's a terrible stunt. She could be letting herself into with many diseases going forward, and you can't exactly know if these guys are fully exonerated from any sexual disease. It's a Wadi blood clot moment altogether. Let's continue. It's crazy.
Oi!
What if they had HIV?
Is that where it comes from? The spunk in the mouth?
They can.
Oh, really? See, I've never really thought about that.
Well, let's think about it, shall we? Though HIV/AIDS is fairly rare, sex workers face a much higher risk of contraction. 30 times higher than other women. This viral infection weakens the immune system and, until recently, with the help of modern medicine, was considered terminal. So yeah, it's a pretty serious concern.
Is it concerning though when you've got...
So yes, as stated through the facts, most of these sexual diseases are contracted by women. If she had done her research, she would have known that, and with that, she would have governed herself accordingly. Instead of giving these guys oral sex, maybe she could have, limited that, allow for vaginal intercourse, with protection, of course, and let that be done with it. But she wanted to go all the way with it. She never knew that. But at the root cause of it, as she's already stated, she never knew that you could get sexually transmitted infections, diseases through the oral cavity. Make that make sense. Let's continue.
Got so much flying at you when you're like, okay, this might be AIDS, this might be AIDS. Or...
Not really. Well, we do rapid HIV tests.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Rapid HIV tests give accurate results in 20 minutes, with only a tiny chance of a false positive. But that's just one of many STIs. Most can't be detected with on-the-spot testing. Other viral infections include herpes, which causes sores, and HPV, which may lead to warts or cervical cancer. Bacterial infections like chlamydia and gonorrhea affect mucosal tissues, causing pain or discharge. And parasites like trichomoniasis cause itching. The immune system fights infections with inflammation. But as mentioned with HIV, some can damage immunity over time, so the body can't fight back. So while many STIs cause localized symptoms such as pain, sores, or swelling, others can spread and cause more severe systemic damage and chronic issues. STIs left untreated can have disastrous effects, like pelvic inflammatory disease, which I'll let Nurse Kathy Parks tell you about.
Sexually transmitted bacteria spreads from the vagina to the uterus, fallopian tubes, and/or ovaries.
This can lead to infertility. So as much as people think STIs are no big deal, they can turn into one. So catching it in early stages is important. But many...
So therein lies the issues that Lily Phillips will have to deal with going forward in her life. These may be latent. There may be latent diseases that she'll have to deal with clinically, pharmaceutically, but they are headaches you do not want to deal with going forward for the rest of your life, and that's exactly what happens, especially with the likes of herpes, herpes simplex 12, gonorrhea, and the like of sexual diseases that she has opened herself to through her use of oral intercourse, which is stunning for a woman, and using and wanting to do this not only with 100 but with 1,000. Now let's say if I believe that Monty Blue is another example of a woman who used oral sex in her pursuit of the record, which is 1,000. I think it was 1,067 in a day. It is stunning that these ladies would take their life in their hands just for a little clout and for a little notoriety. It's simply insane, and shows the depths that we've gone to in our society that we would tolerate this, allow for this, and these ladies would open themselves to without knowing the facts. Let's continue.
Sexually active people may unknowingly carry an STI, as some can be transmitted by asymptomatic carriers, or those with no symptoms. Viral STDs like herpes or HIV can also remain dormant in the body for an extended period of time and reactivate later, spreading even when there are no active symptoms.
Which means people don't know they're infected and unknowingly infect other people.
So this is what their ladies are opening themselves to. I even forgot about chlamydia. There's another sexual disease, as there are a raft of others. So these ladies are literally taking their lives into their hands, just for a bit of clout, just for a bit of notoriety. And let it be known, as we'll discuss later, no man worth his salt is wanting to, well, make them, the love of their lives, if not the
the mothers of their children and a life partner for themselves. It's simply impossible. It's simply impossible. So you either need to find somebody within the industry or someone who would tolerate. I mean, and you can find many of these men slash women. However, the chances of you respecting them at the end of the day are slim to none. Let's continue.
Be safe, not sorry. Get tested regularly. It's quick and painless, often just a swab or urine sample, and treatment, most often, an easy round of antibiotics. Also, condoms reduce STI risk, but don't fully protect against all. Some, like HPV, have vaccines. The point is, safe sex isn't just about preventing pregnancies, but also disease transmission. It's something worth planning for. Although, it seems like this was the general attitude for Lily's male participants.
I never really think about things before I do them, so I just kind of do them and then think, oh, was that okay?
Okay, so this is what Lily Phillips had to deal with. This is what Bonnie Blue had to deal with. A guy who literally walks in and thinks, oh, I don't think of doing things before I do them, but I do them anyway. The fact of the matter is, she wanted her record, he wants the sex, and they don't care, well, within reason, how it gets done. And how they should be protecting themselves in every way, shape, or form. Especially the man. In which, and to be fair, a lot of these, usually the women, mostly women are the ones who carry these diseases along with them. And it's, there are lesser chances of men contracting the disease themselves. However, it is insane for the likes of Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue to be involved in any of these videos without knowing that oral sex can transmit sexually transmitted infections. We have a comment here. Cardi B said it best. They'll do anything for clout. They'll do anything for clout. That's true. It's absolutely true. Thank you, Lana, for that comment. But let's continue with the show here.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. Sex is meant to be fun, not something to overthink. Not only is it a natural stress reliever, after all, you can't orgasm and worry about it at the same time, but regular sex comes with some big health benefits, like reducing the risk of stroke, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, period cramps, chronic pain, and even headaches.
The NIH found regular sexual activity in college-aged students was found to strengthen the immune system, and a long-term study in Wales found that older men who orgasm twice a week have a 50% drop in mortality rates.
And surely, a lot of the positive...
Now you know why guys fat. There you go. There's a lot of benefits to even regular ejaculation. Let's continue.
Effects come from the stress-relieving aspects of sex. Many link benefits to the fact that sex is essentially a form of aerobic exercise.
They coined the term aerobic exercise to describe how oxygen burns to create energy in your body. The word aerobic means with oxygen.
So while we may have to catch our breath while we do aerobic exercise, it improves heart health, boosts endurance, and enhances fitness by increasing oxygen flow to the muscles. But for those who think that they can get away with sexercise alone, research shows it doesn't even stack up to moderate activities like jogging. Unless, of course, you're going at it like Lily.
It was only like 4.
He said it himself. Let's continue.
14, I was like, I'm not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
And 40 is still a lot of people.
For the average person, around 6 minutes of actual physical activity per session doesn't quite measure up to a workout, even though it can feel like one. The heart rate, arousal, and emotional intensity make it seem more taxing, though the calorie burn is negligible. The bursts of effort, muscle use, and psychological factors all add to the feeling of exertion. However, Lily's case is far from typical. Risks like dehydration from sweat and bodily fluids, along with fatigue, muscle cramps, and exhaustion are real concerns. So, staying hydrated is crucial. Proper rest and nutrition are key to avoiding cardiovascular strain and muscle fatigue.
So, yeah, I mean, Dr. Gaynor said it best there. I mean, it would be best if Lily were hydrated. If you saw the video, I think she did get a few breaks during that time. Not exactly as much as needed, but cardio. I mean, sex is a very good. Is a very good. It's a very good cardio facilitator. But again, for those who have done regular cardio, it may not be the best cardio. To be fair, like not like running, like cycling, like swimming and such, where the heart rate goes up a bit more. Where where sexual intercourse only carries with it, just above a resting heartbeat. But again, for those who haven't had it in a while, it may seem like a workout, but for most who don't, for those who have engaged in regular exercise, then it's quite easy to do. Let's continue.
Every time I said, "Are you okay? Do you need a breather?" She's like, No, bring the next guy in.
That may have worked with 100. Going for 1,000 will require extra caution. But it's not just the body that gets pumped up in sex. Your brain does too, which brings some hidden risks. Can you think of another mental state that also gets you hyped? Aggression. Sexual arousal and aggression both activate similar brain regions and neurotransmitters. David J. Anderson, a biology professor at Caltech, explains the social behavioral network model that helps scientists understand these emotional states and their impact on behavior.
Male aggression and male sexual behavior utilize a similar network of subcortical brain regions.
The limbic system, which controls emotions, is central to both sexual arousal and aggression. Key areas like the amygdala, the brain's fire alarm for danger, and the hypothalamus, which regulates sex and hunger, are involved. These primal brain regions serve evolutionary survival functions, like mate selection, which often includes competition for dominance. While humans are obviously more complex than mice, studies show that these brain areas function similarly in both species, with neurons controlling arousal and aggression located dangerously close.
There's a certain brain area, it's called the ventromedial hypothalamus. This is a brain area that's really interesting because it has a population of neurons that control mating. You stimulate them, and animals will just start trying to copulate. You stimulate the other group of neurons, and they will try and kill the other mouse. So these are like switches in the hypothalamus.
So we walk a fine line between what Anderson describes as a moment of coital bliss between mating partners and the sudden growling and baring of fangs seen in wild animals.
The balance of whether it's the cooperative or antagonistic interactions that are firing at any given moment.
The crossover between make love not war and make war not love neural circuitry is risky. As more evolved beings, we usually choose to have sex with people we feel safe with, where there's vulnerability and emotional investment, creating an incentive to protect one another. But for someone like Lily, that's hard to guarantee. As neuroscientist Douglas Fields explains, this brain circuitry can drive men to seek violence or pick fights, just for the dopamine rush that comes with aggression. A 2023...
So just before we get into the 2023 study, it's clear to see that once there's a thin line between the hormones that allow for sexual intensity and sexual pleasure, and the hormones that allow for violence and intense violence at that. That's why most crimes are those of crimes of passion, especially when it comes to love, when it comes to affair, when it comes to any meaning of sexual contact. So again, it's very easy for a man to switch the gears from love to hate within such confines, and that's where you get a lot of the crimes of passion. Period, because the brain shares the same hypothalamus, if I believe, part of the brain that allows for sexual prowess and also for violent tendencies. Let's continue.
These studies showed that sexual arousal can impair decision-making, reducing executive function and making it harder to read social cues, like whether a partner is consenting or not. Hormonal influences can further fuel aggression, and in Lily's situation, it's a room full of raging, no pun intended, testosterone. The power dynamic here is often drastically skewed.
Me and Body got on
And again, guys, just remind yourselves of last week's show where you saw a lot of scars on Bonnie Blue after her thousand body sexcapade, quite simply, and with that came this idea where a lot of men can be aggressive during sexual contact, sensual contact, and with that, people can get hurt. There's, people don't know when to pull back. They don't have any sense of, they don't know where the ledge is, quite simply. And it is dangerous especially for a man who hasn't had sex in a while. They really don't know where to gauge the ledge, to gauge where consent ends and lack of consent and sexual assault and and battery begins. Let's continue.
23 guys around us, like in a circle around us. Then we started just giving them jobs, getting them hard first.
Dr. Anderson explained the shift from arousal to aggression depends on how intensely certain brain regions are stimulated. Emotions like the desire to assert control or dominance can heighten this stimulation, making it easy for feelings of frustration, threat, or rejection to be misinterpreted and channeled as aggression. Now, I'm not suggesting that all aroused men are automatically aggressive. Sexual arousal can actually reduce aggression in some cases. The main takeaway is that arousal gets you worked up, making it crucial to channel that energy with intention. But unfortunately, violence is quite common in this line of work. A systematic review of global sex work found that 45 to 75% of women reported a history of violence, with 32 to 55% experiencing it in the past year.
So again, you can see that there's a thin line between love and hate. There's a thin line between sexual aggression and violence, sexual violence, quite simply. And it's and especially for those who don't know where to gauge that point, it becomes very, very problematic indeed. So for a person who has regular sex, especially a man, he pretty much knows where the ledge is. But even for men who get regular sex, sometimes it is they can flip out, and especially for those who do not have it on a regular basis, it can be very, very, very problematic for them, and that's where women have to fear. And we had to have some sort of fear with these gentlemen, these fear for these gentlemen who are who were in this crusade by Bonnie Boo, by Lily Phillips, and and the chances of these men flipping out or causing bodily or causing battery to these two ladies was very, very high, because again, a lot of these gentlemen who stepped up to the plate probably didn't have sex in a while. Let's continue.
This data refers mostly to more traditional forms of sex work like escorting. It's not a far cry from what Lily is doing now. But again, she's not very worried.
Have you done anything to make sure there's not someone with a criminal record, for example, coming down?
We actually have not now.
Do you feel safe?
Yeah. I mean, pretty sure I could take on some 50-year-old guy.
She doesn't seem to take the...
See, this is what we're saying here. She doesn't realize the sexual diseases that she's carrying in, and she doesn't realize the potential these men have for violence, especially men who haven't had it in a while. It's a dangerous mix. It's a very, very dangerous mix, and luckily she lived to tell the tale. But at the end of the day, she couldn't have. She may not have, especially if this was unfilmed, especially if this wasn't documented. It could have been curtains for her, really, if she ran into the wrong person. But luckily, that wasn't the case. But let's continue.
potential risks too seriously, thinking that the mere process of signing up and submitting an ID would deter anyone with bad intentions. Thankfully, she did have security at the door to check guests, mainly to ensure they weren't heavily intoxicated, which could increase the risk of aggression.
Go through to see my staff, they'd fill out all the paperwork, make sure they're all not pissed and sound-minded. And
for the most part, the event seemed to go smoothly, with no one put in serious danger. Lily said the hardest part was having to stand on business, basically assert herself. She described the uncomfortable moments of rushing clients, even when they weren't finished. Most weren't. And the pressure she felt to give them a good experience, especially after they traveled so far to come see her. It was enough to make her emotional, just talking about it.
What, you're not going to make me finish? I've come all this way. Kind of guilt tripping me a little bit.
She didn't want to let them down, as she put it. But watching her in the aftermath, it almost seemed like she was beginning to...
Before we get into that, remember what I said on Talk Talk Live last week, that this lady was a people... That this lady, I think it was from the psych doc, the pop psych, from Pop Psych last week. The psychologist there, and shout out to him and do subscribe to his channel. He said that she was very, very much a patient who may have been an empath or a person who who was a people pleaser, very much a people pleaser in this case, because she always wanted to give her best to every person in this crusade, in this 100-men crusade here. And I'm sure that would be the case for the 1,000 men if she chooses to go on said endeavor, said crusade. It's or sexcapade if you want, as it were. And this is what's leading to these emotional difficulties and issues, because she feels that she's not good enough, and she needs to give all of her in order to make herself feel, wanted, loved, needed, that sort of thing. And it's quite sad she has to go to these lengths in order to not only establish herself, but also feel that sort of that need of love, companionship, and need to fulfill a task and a need for others as well. Let's continue.
To realize the potential dangers of subjecting herself to such an extreme power imbalance. Listen, people often joke about blue balls, but this is quite literally the uncomfortable conversation she was having with these random guys. Blue balls refers to...
Okay, before we get into blue balls, let's we can really talk about that for later. But again, let's get into that's what not this show is all about. But thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into the complex emotions and set work as we move forward into this, and let's get into what again is going on in the mind of these ladies, especially Lily Phillips in this instance, when it comes to this. Well, OF race to the bottom. Let's continue.
Yeah, 1 minute. That's not to say she can't have conflicting emotions about it, but she did say she felt like a prostitute, and not in a flattering way. I get why sex workers find terms like selling their body for sex degrading, as it oversimplifies the complexities of their experience. Obviously, sex workers deserve compassion and support like anyone else, but we need to honestly question how empowering this line of work really is, though I recognize it's a deeply nuanced issue. Lily claims it's not about the money, but rather for the freedom this lifestyle affords her.
Working for myself, to be able to wake up and grab a coffee in the morning and not have to be in a desk at a 9 to 5, to be able to support myself, do something that I love.
Money. Just so you know, that's money.
While it may not be about money for her directly, what Owens and the podcast hosts are trying to make her see is that it's money that gives her the type of freedom she's talking about, financial independence. So for her,
she doesn't want to work for the money. She doesn't want to work hard for the money. Doesn't want to go into it. She's already stated it in that conversation she had with Candace Owens, which I looked at already, and it was fascinating, quite simply. But again, due to the length of the conversation, we couldn't use that here tonight. But I'm glad he brought that up in a bit of a highlight there. But the fact is, this lady doesn't want to do a 9 to 5. She doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to get up, go to work, come home, maybe get up, go downstairs, or go into a room and work, and end her day. She wants to make money as easily and quickly as possible. And if it involves degrading herself, so be it. As long as she, as she says, has the freedom to walk to her local Starbucks and grab a coffee, knowing that she didn't have to do much work to get there. Maybe have a bit of a physical recovery, but other than that, that's fine by her. And that is the freedom that we have in a capitalist society. But there are indeed psychological issues and, how should I say this? Psychological issues and, well, dangers and, well, negatives that come along with such a way of doing business. Let's continue.
Having sex with hundreds of men is worth it. And I don't think it's fair to view Lily's situation as isolated. It reflects broader societal values. We live in a hyper-capitalist world where our value is often tied to productivity. And when profit is prioritized above all, labor, whether physical, emotional, or sexual, becomes a transactional exchange, stripping away human dignity. This system pressures people to sacrifice their values and sense of self just to survive. This isn't about attacking capitalism, but recognizing how it shapes the choices people make. Fame culture also plays a big part in this dynamic.
Money's not like a driving force for me at all.
So what is the drive?
It's like success.
She's doing it for the world record, to boost her career and gain fame, something social media constantly entices people with. But we have to ask, is being known for something that may not be entirely honorable truly a good thing?
I get like... It isn't, quite simply, because at the end of the day, she is going to have to wipe out all these things, have all these issues, and all of these escapades just to find the man she wants to, well, be with her for a lifetime. Or a woman she wants to be with her for a lifetime. Now, maybe the woman can look past that a lot easier than a man, but for a man, his reputation is sullied by being with a woman as such, and so she'll never have the man she truly dreams of because she sold out for a day of debauchery. Literally. And this, I'm sure, has been told to her by her parents, but she didn't care. All she cared about was being known, being successful, and being famous, having the attention and adulation that she truly sought out. And to the victor goes the spoils, but this literally is the bed you lied in. You lie in. Let's continue.
It's serotonin, like from when people are like, oh my god, you're that on the internet. Sounds crazy.
I know, and I know you're saying that to me right here. I don't believe that.
Really?
No.
It seems like she craves attention.
Even the guy knows his coat. It's literal coat. Let's continue.
No matter the form, which makes you wonder, can we really say that's coming from a place of genuine self-worth? As Welch points out, nearly 90% of sex workers have experienced sexual abuse in childhood. It's often trauma that drives them to do it.
These women are told their entire life the only value that they have is what somebody else will pay for their body.
She argues that it's a myth that prostitutes enjoy it and warns not to be fooled by their happy appearances, that it's often their pimps or traffickers using fear to control them. But for someone like Lily, who works independently, it raises the question, is the objectification ingrained in society subtly influencing her choices? After all, she started because men were sexualizing her, then decided, at least let me get paid, yo.
It's just a sad world that we live in, that you can earn so much money from literally selling your body.
This video is about health, and health is about building empowering habits. And to do that, we gotta be honest with ourselves. So, are people like Lily truly finding liberation? Or are they coping with an exploitive system that doesn't offer them the support that they need? Their sense of...
That is indeed the question, and there he has his answer. There, Dr. Gaynor literally put it out there. I think it is actual cope, cope of success. The fact that she achieved this goal and she's known out there is one thing, but the psychological, physical, mental damage that will forthcome in soon enough, let alone the sexual disease that she may encounter in due course in time, are, I think pale. I think they're insurmountable things that she can never get away from, and quite simply will lead her to a life of depression, if not mental instability, for a long, long time to come. And it's going to take a lot of therapy for her to get through this, quite simply, if not a lot of prescription drugs for whatever she may be carrying. Let's continue.
Empowerment may be more about doing whatever they have to in order to survive than genuine choice. And I'm just not sure freedom would be the best way to describe that. I'll end with a tweet I saw on X commenting on Lily's journey, saying that out of fear of being labeled judgmental, people stayed silent, letting her go down a path that, in hindsight, seemed like a veiled attempt. A cry for help that she now uses to justify her belief that she's worth nothing more than to be used sexually. If you learned anything in this video...
Thank you very much to Dr. Chris Gaynor here. Do subscribe to him. It was a great video here. Again, 100 men in 24 hours, the shocking truth about Lily Phillips OnlyFans. Again, it's on his YouTube page, and he's doing wonderful things on YouTube streams. I would ask you to like and subscribe to him. I consult him from time to time on different subjects we have here on Talk Live. And yeah, it was a fabulous summary he has in terms of not only physical toll, but also mental instability that this woman goes into, but not to the great depths that Psych Pop, I believe his name is, yes, Pop Psych had on his last show. But now let's get into it. Let's turn around and get back to, here we are, what the world at large is saying about this. And first, and especially from a male point of view, again, we've dealt with the physical and psychological status of the two participants, Bonnie Blue, but in particular, Lily Phillips is with regards to these sexual choices, these OF fan, these OF. This OF battle that has ensued. But let's see what this says about men in terms of their participation in these acts of sexual conquest by a woman. In the first point we'll discuss is indeed the Aberrant Preach video of gets ran through by 100 men, cries about it, and now she wants to do 1,000. Again, these guys cut no corners. In terms of things, well, not as much as Fresh and Fit will in due course, but we'll listen to that in a minute. But let's listen to what Aberrant Preach have to say about this, which are two polar opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of this. Well, actually, let's hear what these guys have to say. Let's hear from Aberrant Preach here. Again, subscribe to Aberrant Preach, doing wonderful things YouTube streams, up to 2 million subscribers. These guys are very, very well known in the space, so let's hear from them.
That's a slippery slope.
I'm trying to be the first person to be with 1,000 guys in 24 hours. Now, this isn't an easy task, finding 1,000 people. So, women, if you can lend me your husbands for the day, that would be amazing. I'm trying to be the first person.
Not to cry.
Yeah, she was asking for husbands as well in this journey. Well, the renewed journey for 1,000. She already did 100, and she reached out to her OF followers for that. But now she's reaching out to husbands everywhere. Let's continue.
I can do all this stuff. How much do I believe? Maybe she is traumatized. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's broken. Maybe she's not. I don't know. A lot of these girls who do the OF stuff use rage bait or all these kinds of clickbait to kind of drive viewership. Because whilst we're covering this story, whilst you guys are reacting in the Instagram posts about it or on the Reddit posts, what it also does is there's a small percentage of the people who are reading these posts who go on to subscribe to their OnlyFans. You know, OnlyFans are one of the few places where any publicity is good publicity. That's why they make fake rage bait. Well, that's why people play into the whole incest stuff where it's like, oh, well, I'm dating my cousin. What happens when mom and dad are going to find out? And everyone's in the comments, you fucking sickos. But it's two hot chicks. You don't think there's a bunch of guys who are going to subscribe to that shit? That's why, like, a lot of these stories, like, there was one recently about this girl who was supposedly, sleeping with her stepbrother, and they're running an OnlyFans together. Are they really stepbrothers? Of course not. They're not siblings. That's not a thing for them because these were two popular OF creators before this. But all of a sudden, this is the new in. Everybody gonna try to find a way to market themselves. So this is more of that. Maybe she is traumatized. Maybe she's not. I don't need to sit up here and tell y'all, hey guys, it's not a good idea to sleep with 100 dudes and for physical reasons.
We've already discussed the reasons why already. So let's continue.
For mental reasons, for spiritual reasons. We all know this. And if you don't know this, bitch, there's no hope for you.
3 days. But so again, this is another driver to Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips' page. They need to do these outrageous things so that they get noticed because, again, OF is a saturated market. As stated, another stunt that Lily Phillips that comes to mind is that she was dog walked by she and a companion, a friend, acquaintance, were dog walked with a leash by a man down the street, and that was featured on. That was about a month or two ago. I think a month or two ago. But this is all to drive people to her OnlyFans page because she needs that sort of because she can't earn by doing anything less. So again, is it degrading? Yes. Is it thought provoking, physically and mentally debilitating? Yes. However, it's what she does for money, and she's willing to do anything for money, as was clearly seen by previous videos. Let's continue.
Later. I just wanted to do an update because I had some time to think about it. And I know we didn't really discuss much beyond like the initial reaction. But there were like two things that I wanted to discuss. One was a lot of people are coming out now with the rhetoric that like, oh, maybe this is proof that the OnlyFans industry isn't this great thing that everyone made it out to be.
It's not. It's difficult. There's some difficulties in there. Of course, we're going to advertise that it's the good part, the good side of it. But keep on going.
Okay, just to give you the base. Basically, with a lot of now adult actors not going into prawn specifically, but doing their own thing themselves and being independent, people always thought, this is so great. People have more freedoms. They have more power. All this is very positive. And so I'm asking you, what do you think?
Well, there's going to be other problems. There's going to be some other issues that's going to arise. Yeah, you're working for your money and you're setting your prices. Where if you do those videos with a director, with an agency, everybody's getting a cut and you're not really getting paid. You're being in control of what your worth is. Concur. You are your own boss. If you don't want to do something, you're not going to do something that you don't want to do. That being said, Coconuts in Barbados, it doesn't make it easy. It's not easy. There's other issues, other problems, other things that happen. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that it's an easy work and everything is fine, everything is okay.
So indeed, you're right. It's as Abba was saying. Sorry, that's Abba. This is Preach. As Preach was saying, there are other costs that come with such a position, with such an issue, with such work, and that is the physical and psychological toll. That is the infamy that you assume. That is, men not taking you seriously for wife as a wife or as a mother, and you being somewhat ostracized from society, even though you may still live within it. These are all things that women as such have to go through when pursuing such work. But they do it gladly because they can earn money for it, and it's easy money. But there are still tolls to be had. There are still psychological and physical issues that must be dealt with, and but these ladies don't care, and they're willing to deal with it. But we know it's cold. Let's continue.
Oh my God, you're a YouTuber? You do nothing all day. I mean, I wouldn't go back to my old job, but I mean, there is still work. There's a lot of work that has to be done. There's a lot of things that have to be taken in consideration. The fact that you are your own boss and you decide. Yeah, that's great, but know that not everybody is made for that job. That's for sure, for sure.
Yeah. I don't think the industry's bad. I think it's definitely an improvement on what was there before. So I mean, listen, there's less risks. There's some different risks, but there's still, I would always say, overall less. Yep. You're compensated exponentially more.
Yep.
Well, that's for the people who do well. Some of them don't. But that was the same thing in the previous industry. So,
but it would have been the same thing.
And you're not like locked into some contract. If you want to walk away, you have much more flexibility to do so now. So, I would say overall it's better, but it doesn't change the fact that there's like negative aspects to this that are going to follow some people. And like Preach said, a lot of people not cut out for this work. It's like that girl who cried, who says she can't see men the same way, and that's completely like destroyed her relationship with the opposite sex, right? The OnlyFans girl, the Asian one? Yeah. She, she's talking about OnlyFans, but look at her and how it fucked her up and how it messed her up because she's dealing with these dudes who pay for this kind of stuff and really subject her to really weird behavior. But I think beyond that,
so just before we go on with that, yeah, I mean, Abba is absolutely correct in the sense of yes, women are given the freedom to earn the money as they wish. To earn more money because it's not going through an intermediary like a pimp. However, with such freedom, there is still a toll and a cost, and that is partly that you won't. Partly is psychological, and in part, you don't see men the same way in a romantic way that you used to. You see the base forms of men. You see the carnal forms of men, and women have said it. Women within the sex industry have said it time and time out. They see the ugly side of men. Often, you see them. The sinful, ugly, nasty, devilish side of men, and that as the example that he used in this video, she could never trust men again from what she saw. I mean, they leave psychological scars from which you cannot come back from. You cannot recover, and it's a terrible tale, but it's something that is indeed customary in these industries, and that's why they're so partly so scarred psychologically from days, months, years in the business. Let's continue.
This is probably the point that I think is most important, and it speaks to this story. Because of the nature of the self-advertising that exists within this industry, people are pushed to do more and more extreme stuff just to get noticed. So whether it's like, oh, I'm banging my stepbrother, that's the new thing. Oh, I'm going to pretend to be trans, that's the new thing. Oh, I'm going to have 100 guys do me and cry about it, and then the next day I'm going to say I want to do 1,000 guys. Right? The next person or the next crop of women who are going to come, there's going to be some of them who are going to have to push the envelope even further. Someone's going to say it's going to be 100 black guys. And there's going to be, it's going to be something weird, all right?
I'm going to have 100 people doo-doo on me.
Yeah. I'll go to some rural village in India and everyone gets a turn. It's going to be weird stuff. And a lot of...
Yeah, Abba's exactly right here. It's like it's gonna go get weirder and weirder and weirder, stranger to differentiate yourself from others. As we said in the last Talk Live, it's coming to a point where it's hard for you to make money on OnlyFans now. It is getting harder. Like it was hard. It was easier back in the day to make money stripping, but it's hard now. It's hard work to be a stripper. It's hard work to be soon to be hard work to be an OnlyFans girl. There's only so much that you can earn in these areas. And this was used to, as I said before, this used to be the area for porn stars. Porn stars used to do used to have these supposed, sexual escapades with 10 men, 20 men, 30 men, bukkakis, and as was recently stated in the last show, the one I believe it was the one lady who was sitting with Howard Stern. She had sex with 100 men then, but it affected her so seriously psychologically, she totally got out of the sex industry. So it's it really is it's again, this used to be the remit, the area of only porn stars. But now porn stars have to differentiate themselves on Pornhub, just like OnlyFans girls have to differentiate themselves because it's so much easier for these girls to make money by just putting a cam up and doing what they want to do without having to do extraneous things. But now they have to because there's so many people who are saturating the market. Simple as that. That's the only way you can differentiate yourself from others. Let's continue.
A lot of us are going to tune in to see how this shit goes. And we're all going to read the stories. It's going to be advertising for us. So the problem with it going more and more extreme is it's just like that cyberpunk thing that I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
The envelope never stops. For people who enjoy depravity, for people who enjoy humiliation, there's always more that can be done.
Yeah.
And people want money. That's never going to go away. So this is only going to get more and more crazy. There's, people are like, oh, we've hit rock bottom. I'm like, bitch, you ain't even seen the floor. Oh, it's just a straight hole through the planet. And when you come out the other side, you going straight to outer space. And you keep floating. There is no end to this. Whatever your imagination can take you, imagine the weirdest thing somebody could do in a prom video. They're going to go further. Especially with all this new technology that's coming and the whole AI, VR stuff. I promise you, within the next couple, if it's not already happening, people are literally going to sell their VR rights to people, smashing their coochie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And doing weird stuff to them, torturing them. The nature of this now self-advertised, be as creative as you want in terms of advertise yourself, is that there are no standards, one. And two, the sky's the limit. The more weird stuff you're willing to do, the more your name gets out there. And that's the nature of the game.
Great point raised there by Abba. And it's true. The crazier, the weirder, the more depraved, the more deranged, the more sexually deviant you want to be, the more people will pay for it. The more focus will be brought to you. So again, it's really a slippery slope we're dealing with, and as you say, there is no floor, there is no bottom here. There's so many things that you can do in these areas. I mean, there's always snuff porn, which is snuff corn. That is snuff corn. Sorry. There's also snuff corn, which is basically being violent porn, literal violent porn, and it's nasty and it's debaucherous and it's only been driven to the underground. But through OnlyFans and these different means, these may be brought to the forefront, and it may be something that may see the light of day. I hope not. I really, really do hope that isn't the case, because that is violence. That is debaucherous, carnal, nasty, devilish acts, and they should never see the light of day, quite simply. But in order to get noticed, people will try to do any and everything, and that is indeed a societal issue that needs to be nipped in the bud. Let's continue.
Oh, someone did OnlyFans. She's like, yeah, everything is a trend, and everyone hops on the same trend.
Yep.
And she's like, if you want to be popular on OnlyFans, for the vast majority of them, everyone has to hop on the trend. So whether it's walking into an elevator and you do these weird videos, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That's a trend. They all do.
It's just another social media. It's just like TikTok. There's always some trends and everybody jumps on it. It's just now it's TikTok. So trends.
There you go. Anything insightful?
No, I have nothing insightful to say. I have nothing to say.
But aren't you the sex expert between the two of us?
The what?
Sex expert.
No, not an expert. Never called myself an expert. Never did. I'm not. Don't have a degree about that. I don't have a degree. Period.
Do they want to hear your thoughts? You got nothing for them?
Bruh, you pretty much summed it up.
But they're going to get mad at me.
Nobody's going to get...
You don't let Preach talk. I don't like...
They're not going to let... They know.
Okay, we're going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen, as they argue amongst themselves. Thank you very much to Abba and Preach for this video here. Very, very... Well, again, a lot of their topics, a lot of their talking points are quite... they're quite thought-provoking. quite insightful, quite debatable, and again, it's something that raises conversation, and we got to thank Adam and Preach for that, because a lot of their talking points are things that we can consider right now. So we're just ending the first hour here on Talk Live. Second hour, we're going to get right into, and I mean right into, Fresh and Fit's take on the subject. That is Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips and their OF Corn Race to the Bottom. Thank you very much for joining me at Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTLK.com. As we get back live onto Instagram for the second hour. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just get out of this. And yes, we are going to do that. And we are about to get back into it. Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. Fair enough. Yes, we are back live on Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Back for hour 2 of the Lily Phillips v. Bonnie Blue v. Lily Phillips battle, the OF Race to the Bottom. Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. We've already talked about the physical, psychological aspects. We've already talked about those, the timeline here. Now we're going to get finally here into the debate between, with the help of Fresh and Fit. And they're going to be decoding Lily Phillips' lies through the RP lens. This is for men's consideration, ladies and gentlemen. We've already gone through the toll that they're taking on the ladies. We've already gone through the timelines and where we are now with regards to this battle. Now let's get it from an RP lens. Let's see what it says about a man who partakes or who is a consumer of said products, especially corn in this instance. Through this debate here. Now again, this is going to be a little debate here between it's a conversation between Lily Phillips and let me just do this quickly. This is going to be a debate between Lily Phillips and let's move this over here, and yes, let's move this out of here. And I'm gonna shorten this bridge up here. Give me 1 second, guys, as we move this away. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Give me 1 second here, because we have. Move this up here. That's better. See around there. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be up here for now as we feature this, because again, Fresh and Fit are going to be on the bottom as they debate this, and then I'll give my take on things as well. So again, this is a conversation between Bradley Martin and Lily Phillips on Bradley Martin's YouTube platform, Raw Talk, which is again a very, very successful platform itself. If you've not heard of Bradley Martin and Raw Talk, then I don't know where you are. Do subscribe to them. Do subscribe to Fresh and Fit, doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. We're taking this from the Rumble platform here, which allows for free speech. And we're going to get, again, we're decoding Lily Phillips' lies through the RP lens with our friends at Fresh and Fit. So do like and subscribe to them. I think they're doing wonderful things in these Rumble streets here, as we clearly see. But again, we're interpreting the conversation between Bradley Martin and Lily Phillips. Yeah, let's get into it. Actually, 1 second before we go into this quickly, I just saw. There we go. That's better. That is better. Right. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start from here. Excellent. So we're going to go back to the full cam. All right. And we're going to get back into this here. Now we're back. Now we're ready. Okay, so let's get into it with Fresh and Fit, Bradley Martin, and the one and only Lily Phillips as we discover this and some of their talking points. So let's continue here. on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000
I had a
subscribers.
really normal childhood and everything, and then I went to university, and I went to university because everyone else was going to university, and it was just something to do. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I went there, and that's when OnlyFans was sort of becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't log in to my first ever lecture because it was Zoom. It was the time of COVID. And I couldn't log in, and so I thought, fuck it, let's do OnlyFans. Because I was already really into taking Instagram photos and social media.
So you're already doing social media?
Yes.
And then OnlyFans became a thing, or it had been a thing?
It kind of been a thing. It was just kind of people were talking about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just kind of heard of it. I didn't realize you could actually make money on it. I thought, this has got to be fake. You can't make money on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you didn't, what were you going to school for prior? What were you going to?
Nutrition.
So you wanted to be a
bit of a nutritionist. I always loved sport. So something to do with that maybe. That's what I went to college for.
And then you're just fuck it. I'm going to, when you, because this is the thing with the whole OF thing is most girls don't necessarily even start at that level of I'm going to do actual pornography.
Yeah.
They kind of go, I'm going to sell pictures. Did it start like that?
Yeah, it started very much more tame kind of stuff. But I was doing this kind of stuff in my personal life anyway.
What kind of stuff?
As in, pause. I was fucking lots of guys, gangbangs,
before you ever.
So this is where. So what you guys are. This is gonna be a red lens breakdown for you guys. So it always starts with this, right? One of the biggest cope mechanisms that these girls use when they enter into the sex worker industry is they say, "Oh, I was already doing this. I was already banging guys or selling feed pics or some other shit. I was already involved in this stuff. So I figured I would just monetize it, right?" This is their cope. I saw a clip one time of these two girls saying yeah, I know girls that go to college and a sorority and they bang a new guy every night. So it's at least I'm on OnlyFans and I make money doing it. Or, I'm not even as big of a 304, right? But what these chicks don't understand is that actually you are. Because I would argue that a girl that does sexual things on camera is on the same level as a girl that's fucking a bunch of dudes off camera. Because the whole point here is your mind state when you're doing this shit. If you're over here willing to fuck niggas on camera, right, for money, that or even fuck yourself, let's say you do use a dildo or the solo set content that these girls make. Yeah. If you want to do that, then that speaks a lot to your mind state. Your mind state is fucked up.
Yeah.
What are you capable of?
You know what's scary?
Yes, very good point raised there. I mean, this is as well. Myron, aka Fit, has stated in this interview and through the comments made there by Little Phillips, this was already within her. This was already a part of her lifestyle. As she said, she was doing this before. She just wanted to monetize it, so she went online and decided, hey, let's make money while we're doing this. And she never even signed up for a university class. She said it was COVID. She couldn't sign up for her courses. So what did she do? The next thing she did was she went after OnlyFans. So this was already within her. This was already within her soul, within her being. She just wanted to be sexually deviant while earning money while doing it. Let's continue.
So imagine two girls, right? One girl is OnlyFans, one's in college fucking dudes every night. When they leave college or when they get to a certain age, let's say 30 years old, right? Or 25 years old or so, they meet a guy for the first time. One that does OnlyFans is out there publicly on social media. Everyone knows who she is. The other one is more low-key, doesn't post it online at all, but her history is so high, probably worse than this girl, but because she's so quiet and nonchalant about her activities, she'll get married and wifed up. But this chick will never get married and wifed up because, well, I would say never, but probably not because she's out there publicly.
Yeah.
But the same mindset, by the way, so you can marry someone that's not publicly out there, that's not OnlyFans girl, that's worse than OnlyFans girl, because she's publicly on the internet, it's still bad.
Yeah.
It's actually worse.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it.
Okay, so as Fresh was saying, maybe not so straightforward, but again, I get what he's saying, and is that, you know what, it may be better for you just to be, if you're going to be sexually deviant, at least keep it out of the public view. If you're going to do this, yeah, you have a reputation on your university, but don't make it so something that can be found on the internet, like through OnlyFans or through Instagram or through Pornhub or any of these sites. If you make it such, then you basically cooked yourself. But if you are deviant, you've done this in the dark, and then this is a part of your past, then you can indeed find a man of value that you truly love, honor, respect, and see it as a protector and provider. that's no problem. But if you don't, then you are left with the consequences here. Let's continue.
It cancels out. Like girls will say, one of the biggest talking points for OF girls is, I don't fuck that many guys, which could be true. It could be true. I will actually give some of these chicks the benefit of the doubt.
To see it.
So some of these OF girls actually don't fuck niggas like that.
Yeah, they don't.
But the fact that you're on OF in the first place pretty much puts you in the same category as the girls that do fuck everybody every day.
Tough.
And that's what women don't understand, because your chastity and your virtue is a cornerstone to your sexual marketability as a female. So you are no better than the girl that's fucking a bunch of dudes on the low.
Yeah.
You're no better than the travel nurse that has sex anonymously.
Only thing is we can see it live and in person.
Yep.
So
That's and very true said by Myron there, is that your reputation is already sullied by just being on OnlyFans, because everybody knows OnlyFans is a facility for, now again, you can sing, you can dance, you can gain an audience however you like through OnlyFans, but it's now known as the site for anyone to get on there to do, to sell your booty hole online for $3.99. Everybody knows that. For men, it's known for gay for play. For ladies, it's known for, indeed, doing any sort of debaucherous thing in order to obtain funds. So, including this, as this is an OnlyFans fundraiser, quite simply. So, again, you just being on OnlyFans sullies your reputation altogether. So, it's already a red flag for a man to see that that a woman that he would like to pursue romantically, if not sexually, is on OnlyFans, because quite simply you're already giving yourself to the streets. Let's continue.
It's there. So yeah, man, like that's what makes it the problematic, because female sexuality since the beginning of fucking human history has always been something, at least for thriving societies, has been something that was supposed to be contained, right? If you look at any civilization where like open sexuality was like acceptable, where are them niggas at now? Oh, I know where. They got conquered by the fucking Muslims or the Christians. That's what happened. Pagans gone, right? Even in Judaism too, same thing, right? For the Orthodox Jews, for them, like, you got to protect female sexuality. So all the societies that thrived on women being promiscuous or being leaders or being matriarchs, they all got dominated by patriarchies that controlled female sexuality. Because all these dumb chicks, well, the Cleopatra, and what happened to her? Gone. Fucking clapped. Dumbasses use these stupid examples.
But it doesn't work. You know what's scary about this part, though? Go up to the video real quick, if you don't mind. Look at her, but imagine if you didn't know that she did OnlyFans.
Yeah, you would never know.
You would never know.
Yo, there's going to be a sucker out there, bro. There's going to be a sucker out there that will have zero clue what she did that will take her serious one day. She's going to pay a lawyer. She's going to pay $1 million, get everything wiped off the internet the best that she can, because she'll have the money by then. And then she'll say, oh, I'm ready for a marriage. Get off the internet. Do exactly what that Nala chick did. Do that shit. And then boom.
I'll do even better. Here in Miami, right, we have a pandemic of snow bunnies. Let me explain. They start here in Miami, do the worst, probably fuck a bunch of niggas, and they end up saying, you know what? This life isn't for me. I'm going to go to Fort Lauderdale. And they go to Fort Lauderdale, a whole new life, maybe delete their Instagram, make a new one, start over fresh. But you know what happens? Again, it repeats itself. And they become the class hole in that city, in that town.
Yeah.
Again, that's what girls do, bro. They come out with purity at the very beginning, but their nature always tells themselves at some point.
That's why I tell you.
So again, it's as you can see here. I mean, Lily Phillips will definitely try to have other people see her as virtuous in the next 10 years. She'll try to lead the industry. She'll make her money, and then she'll try to wipe the internet of all of her interactions, and she'll try to go good. But the fact that she has been in such high profile OnlyFans, initiatives, stunts, campaigns and such, battles like this with the likes of Bonnie Blue, it's going to be very, very difficult for people to not remind themselves of her. And, there'll always be, the internet is undeniable, it will always be there. Anything you've done in darkness will come to light if it's put on the internet. So it's going to be very difficult for her to erase her past. However, she's going to try, because she's going to try to accumulate the money and the finances and everything to have the financial freedom to wipe it off, wipe all these things off. or maybe as Fresh has said, move to another town, move to another state, move to another country, and live a new life. However, the internet is forever, and your reputation on it is forever. So if people find out that you were indeed a porn star doing 100 men, doing 1,000 men, it's only going to be problematic in the end. Thank you very much for the compliment there, Golden Tight. Much appreciated to you. All right, and yes, indeed. Let's continue with this.
You guys all the time. Girls that travel alone, that's a big fucking red flag.
Red flag, bro. Red flag.
Big red flag.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going with the clip. Or the interview.
But by what they mean by women who travel alone, usually women who travel alone to a new state, to a new country, or basically to a hotbed, a big town like a Miami, more often than not, they want to be involved in the porn industry because that's a new hotbed in the porn industry. It's places like Los Angeles, places especially like Miami. Let's continue.
Filmed it.
Yeah. So it was like a hobby before it was work.
Well, so that's what I'm curious about. Like, why?
What do you mean why?
You're just like, this is not even on camera. You're like, I just want to I want to experience.
I was just
these
enjoying
things.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I got some kind of thrill from fucking these guys, and like I enjoyed the sex. I enjoyed it with like lots of different kind of guys as well. I don't know. I think I get off to getting guys off.
Yeah. You don't even care how that sounds, huh?
Why? How does that sound?
Just sounds nasty. Like,
you know,
not the good kind.
You know, what I'm really into as well. Like I used to do like. Have you heard of Omegle?
Omegle? Yeah.
So like when I was like 13 and flashing my tits, like these like old guys like wanking off me, like getting them horny, making them wank off and like that. Like,
but you were like, yo.
So again, this as Fresh Fit has already said, this is a history. There's a past here. She used to get on Omegle and flash men, and go topless, flash men, and do it for money. This is something that that she's done before, and this has continued to this point in time where it went unchecked. And now it's to a point where, the mom doesn't want to know her dad has disowned her quite simply. And, and she has chosen to demean herself in these sexual ways and through these sexual escapades. And it's really, this is something that has started for many a year and will continue on into the future because she wants to get famous. And, she doesn't want to do it through graft and hard work. It's it's literally laying on your back quite simply to do it. But again, this is not something that is something that is just new and that she wanted to do for sexual discovery and exploration or research. No, she wanted this for a while. She loved the attention and adulation by doing it, and she became an addict to it. And she, as stated, wanted to do the worst things to herself in order to have the best outcomes. Let's continue.
You were never like, I want to. It's such a
shout out to Lana, Golden Tight, and King Onan.
Interesting conversation because I feel like this whole industry, just pornography in general, is just so fucking toxic for people. Literally for the users, not because every time I have these conversations with people who actually like produce it or make the content, sometimes they're like, yeah, I regret it. I wish I didn't do it. A lot of times it's always after the fact, after they made a bunch of money, then they're like, yeah, it's bad. I shouldn't have done it.
Of course. Pause.
You don't think you're ever going to feel that way?
No.
Self-delusion as well.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about
in some extreme cases, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of documented reports of like, big OF stars or big, porn stars.
Yeah.
Literally like ending it. That's true.
At some point your mental is going to be affected.
Absolutely, bro.
We've already discussed it on Talk Live already. Yeah, a lot of porn stars do end themselves because of the severe psychological damage that such an industry puts on you as a lady. And again, appreciate the compliment from you, Golden Tight. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Like, Sartain always references this documentary. I forget the name of it. It's like Life After Porn or something like that.
On Netflix, right?
I don't know where it is. But he always references it where, like, there's a stark contrast between guys' life after porn. Like, they all have families and they've, like, reacclimated back to society because it didn't affect them like that. And then for the women, it's like they're haggard and homeless and
drugs
on drugs. Like, they're vagrants now. Like, very few women, like, get out on the other side of porn and are able to maintain their sanity, Like they go back to it. Like, look at Mia Khalifa. oh, they use me, blah blah blah. And like she tries to become like some fake, corn star activist.
Yeah.
But what's she doing? She back on OnlyFans.
It's hard to.
You can't, bro. Once you get into the sex industry, there's like a 95% chance that you're gonna go back.
It's hard to get out.
Indeed, it's hard to get out. Well said there by Fresh, and well said by Myron. Indeed, it's like going to jail. For being a corn star is like going to jail. Once you're in corn, it's very, very hard to get out of, and chances are when you get out of the life, you'll go back in. As is the case of Mia Khalifa, as is the case of many a corn star out there who decided, I'm sure, many a corn star of the past who have done that, and that has led to psychological issues and maybe ending oneself at the end of the day. But the same also can be said for men to a certain extent. There are men but it only happens once you've contracted a terminal sexual disease. So let's say you're in for a gay for play, or you're in gay corn. Let me say that. When you're in gay corn and basically you catch something that's terminal, you can't turn your life around. You can indeed, it can be problematic, and if not, can end yourself being in such entourage. So again, it can happen to men, but more often than not, it does happen to women. Golden Tate, it's indeed Golden Tate. We're talking about the Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue OnlyFans battle of sexcapades. Where let's say this: Lily Phillips, she wanted to be discovered because she's an OnlyFans lady, so she decided she wanted to sleep with 100 men in a day. She did that. They documented it. So be it. So after that, and seeing the success, she wanted to sleep with 1,000 men in a day. However, this lady Bonnie Blue came back and basically one-upped her before she could herself by doing 1,060 plus men in a day, and that has created this battle between Bonnie Blue. It's not Kendrick Lamar and Drake, believe me, but it's created this battle between Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, and in terms of making it into a race to the bottom. And that's where we are now. And it just so happened that the 100-man escapade was carried on in Turkey by a OnlyFans model there. But again, she was arrested for it. And I think that should have been instituted here in the United States. But, it's never going to happen in a world where there's a Charter of Rights and Freedoms and a Constitution. A very strict Constitution that doesn't adhere to any sort of Sharia law or religion. Let's continue.
Almost
I hope that was
impossible to
good enough for you there,
successfully.
man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you make a bunch of money and maybe you get a cent. Like I know Nala right now, she has like that Christian dude with her, but that ain't gonna last, man. It's not gonna last. And then if she loses him, she probably will go back to doing what she was doing.
How long you give it till they break up?
That's a good question. I would say 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, max.
I'll give it 24 months. 36 is the absolute most. But after 3 years, cooked. She's gonna get rid of him or something. Because the problem is that her ex, the man that she's with right now, this Christian guy, he's like a novice Pokemon trainer, right? But what he doesn't know is that he's dealing with a level 100 Mewtwo, and I don't mean that in a good way, right? Like it's not something that can be controlled. Like she's pretending to be submissive and all this other shit, but that's not what it is. And the problem with these girls is like when they've endured that kind of trauma, it rears its ugly head at the most inopportune times.
They're not stable at all.
And not at all. Bro, give her a couple of drinks and them demons are coming out.
Bro.
You've talked about this, right? Like, couple girls you've dealt with that used to do that shit. Listen, they drink and they become their old self.
Listen.
Yep. Sober thoughts are drunken actions. And yeah, it's again, part of the psychological depravity and instability that these women go through, and once alcohol is induced, they're liable to do anything, and that is somebody that's very unstable, to which you can never really put your trust in, quite simply, and would need a whole lot of therapy in order to see right. Let's continue.
Guys, girls are slowly pretty. We said it all the time on the podcast, but imagine you're in still purity at this level of, I want to say, Stasius, right? When you add alcohol into this mix, what happens is this woman becomes her true self. Freaky, ready to smash anybody that talks to her, and willing to give herself to pretty much anyone that's available. This is who you're gonna marry if you're not careful. And as a result, man, a lot of people end up marrying the whores because they don't understand or they can't see for the, or what they are, and as a result, they end up becoming like this guy that I'm married now. So as a result, man, be careful, guys. It's tough out here, man. Girls are crazy, and seeing them drunk tells you a lot about who they really are.
And that is true there from Fresh. Well said. It's, because the levels of oxytocin in most of these ladies, especially in the porn industry, are very, 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 very low. To a point where they cannot be counted on to have any sustainable, enduring, loving relationships with a man over time, because they're always comparing him to someone else, and it, at the end of the day, will result in a woman not being faithful and not being exactly mentally stable to begin with. So because she's always thinking of something else, always wanting to do something else. Add alcohol or drugs into the mix, and it's a concoction for disaster, quite simply, to which you cannot keep the focus of any of these ladies. So these are the reasons why a lot of these girls need therapy, and a whole lot of it. But not only that, it's part of these reasons why these ladies can't be wiped up, can't be considered mothers, can't be women to be carry on your legacy, because quite simply they've used it on too many men over time, and the same will go for Bonnie Bloom, the same will go for Lily Phillips. Let's continue.
So, all right, back to the video. All right.
No, definitely not. As well, I'm always a believer in like everything happens for a reason. So like even if I made a mistake or did something wrong in my life, it's got me to where I am. So like I'm happy to have made that mistake. Like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just different butterflies on this one.
Lots of butterflies on this one.
Yeah, I just, it's, because like right now it's like they're all going crazy about TikTok being banned and like all the reasons or not reasons that it is or isn't happening. And then I keep seeing people are trying to like make the parallels. Like, why are they not getting rid of these other things that are?
A funny story. So TikTok gets banned, right? And it comes back. And one of the changes is Free Palestine is now considered hate speech. If you put it on your thing, they take it down. You can't put Free Palestine anymore.
Damn.
It's considered hate speech.
And you know the reason why. If you really do your research, I'm not going to say it here, but you know the reason why. Do your research, and you'll find out. Let's continue.
How much do you guys want to bet that was one of the main negotiating tools that Trump used to get TikTok back online?
I'd say yes. Do your research, go down the rabbit hole, and find out why. And I'd say yes.
Possibly. Because everyone says that TikTok was banned because of Chinese interference. You know what? I'll just leave it there. This is commentary from Iron Gains X on another day. But just kind of wanted to put that out there for y'all ninjas. Just, yeah. Yeah. TikTok is back, but it came back with a new interesting feature. All right.
If you know what that means, you know what that means. If you know, you know.
Let's go back. Let's keep going.
What, like porn and OnlyFans?
Yeah, that is like basically destroying. Like, because we're talking about TikTok, like people's biggest thing is like, besides the fact that it's like, Chinese are spying on us, whatever they're saying. It's also like, well, that's just fucking brain rot. Why are we doing that? So that conversation leads into like, well, what about all these other things that are just basically destroying and like degrading society?
There's always going to be some kind of porn though. Like there's always going to be something. And like people need to control themselves. Like I don't think we should be blaming porn. I think people just need to be a bit more disciplined.
See, she'll say that because you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yes, she knows that corn is not that corn is not exactly the finest thing in the world, but she gets paid from it. So if she gets paid from it, she doesn't want to ruin her revenue stream, her income stream. So therefore, she'll say anything and everything to, have corn continue. It's like the saying, guns don't kill people, people kill people. They don't want to ban guns because guns finance a lot of things, especially the Republican Party. You look into that. But, it still contributes to a very violent society, especially in the United States, where gun laws are so liberal that people can go into different school districts and shoot up different facilities. You do the math, and so we can't be allowed to. Well, I'll leave it there. But that's just an analogy of what we're doing here. In that, don't blame the medium that I make money with. Blame the people who use the medium. They're the problem, not the likes of Lily Phillips. Let's continue.
That's true. That's true. The problem with it though is that, and obviously I can't speak from a from a place where like I don't give any sort of bad off. I try to not, but I guess someone could identify, oh well, I work out and maybe they'll talk about steroids or whatever the things are that are encouraging kids. Because the whole thing, it comes down to like that is like, what are we doing to the sort of the next generation of the people coming up thinking, like even you, for example, when you were like, yeah, I was going to be a nutritionist, and then I was like, well, I can just make more money doing this. Now, so many.
I got in a debate with Tim Cass actually about this because I was saying I'm a free speech absolutist, and they're saying, well, if you're a free speech absolutist, that means that you need to be standing for pornography. And I said, no, because pornography isn't, oh, it's freedom of expression. No, because number one, it's degenerate. And then number two, it doesn't provide any political discourse, right? The freedom of speech was designed to allow individuals to have political discourse to improve the society. It's the bedrock of a democracy. But porn does not count under that at all. Like, it's not speech. Matter of fact, if anything, porn it has zero speech. So it's some weird moans and sounds. So it's like, what the fuck? So when it comes to people trying to say, oh, well...
Yeah, I would consider porn, more freedom of expression than freedom of speech. It's more freedom of expression. Expression of one's love, expression of one's sexuality, that sort of thing. It's more freedom of expression than freedom of speech. Let's continue.
Porn falls under the First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. It's not the same as free speech, man. It's absolutely not. Because another thing, too, if you look at like a lot of these OF girls, etc., right? The people that follow them are kids. It's teenagers. A lot of the times. Minors that watch this bullshit. So, no, yeah, it is problematic. It needs to be regulated significantly.
So what does porn fall under?
It's capitalism, man.
Again, I would say freedom of expression. That's what porn would fall under. Freedom of expression.
I mean, maybe there's like some maybe broad overstroke where it falls under the First Amendment, but we also live in a capitalistic society too. It makes money. So look, I'm a capitalist as well. I understand that make money where get in where you can fit in and make money where you can. Yeah. I understand that, and I respect capitalism. But at the same time, I also respect, the sanctity of our children. So, what Florida did actually is a good idea. You can't go on porn on Florida without you got to age verify or some shit like that.
18 plus.
So that already disincentivizes a bunch of people to not go on there or watch it, right? So that it's a minor step, but I do think that it's an industry that needs to be heavily regulated.
And that is absolutely true. It's a good idea that most most cities, most states, most countries should advocate for this rule where you have to age verify. You have to literally give your driver's license or some information to say that you are a consumer of this product and you're allowed to see said product. Because right now, corn is very, very pervasive. All you have to do is log into a site literally, and corn is readily available, even to kids. And that is problematic. That really is problematic. It shouldn't be in their hands to begin with. And it's, I think, too widely available. And I think it leads to, unnecessary thoughts in the hands of people who aren't capable of handling said thoughts. So I think the idea of age verification on corn sites to access corn in and of itself, even corn on OnlyFans or on Twitter, because you can easily access it on X now, as is the freedom of expression that is found on X through Elon Musk. Corn is readily available there, and again, kids can access it very, very easily. And there are no sort of checks or balances in order to keep it out of said hands, and it has become very problematic. I mean, I saw it myself as a soccer coach, and it brought great embarrassment to me. And I wouldn't want any child or adolescent to have it in their hands unless they are fully capable of understanding what's going on in these circles. And and are able to handle them in a very mature and responsible way. Let's continue.
Is what my take on it. You know, I mean, should it get banned? Part of me like I think it should be banned, but me being pragmatic in a capitalist society, it won't get banned. I think it should be banned, but it won't be. So
I think there should be greater education on the subject. I think it should be permitted in schools to talk about sexuality and sexual diseases. But again, I am very much with Myron on the sense that we need to have this out of the hands of children. Let's continue.
I think we need to put serious restrictions on it and moderation.
Agreed.
Don't censor speech, but you do need to censor porn. I find it amazing, and I talked about this yesterday on my stream. There's girls on Twitch right fucking now that are licking and sucking on microphones and using it almost like from a phallistic standpoint, like a phallus. But if I go on there and I talk about political ideology or what's going on culturally or whatever, I get banned. And it's funny because Twitch banned us for off-platform behavior. But you got girls off-platform literally doing sex acts with microphones asking for subs. And that...
Sorry about that. Let's just continue here. Sorry about that. There you go.
You think Trump's gonna make that a thing, or not
like
really?
regulating corn?
Yeah.
Nah, man. No, I don't think so. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. Trump is not really like. I would consider Trump more center right than right wing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Trump is more capitalist than he is traditionally conservative, so more right wing, more, and so that would disallow the use of porn. Shout out to Robinson 2067. Shout out to you for joining us here on Talk Live. But again, I would say definitely. Trump is very much a capitalist. Let me say this: he loves women, and he has not been afraid to show it or say it. And he has been indicted on a few occasions with a few, well, quote unquote, predators at certain times. That cannot be confirmed or denied. But there is photographic evidence of this. And I very much think that he would not outright deny the use of corn in any way. But in terms of regulation, I would say yes. But in terms of its outright ban, I very much doubt that. Let's continue.
Okay. I'll consider him more center right.
And especially in this country of Canada as well, I very much doubt that they would ban the use of corn, being that it is more of a leftist country in and of itself. They tend to be centrist, more leftist. I don't know what the views of Polyev will be going forward, but he seems to be, in the coattails of a Donald Trump, but so center right. So therefore, I don't really see the outright ban of corn. Oh, hey, Alfonso, how are you, sir? How are you? Hope all is well. Again, we're living the Lily Phillips / Bonnie Blue OF corn race to the bottom here, and we're just getting a man's take on things with regards to this whole debate. But let's continue with this. Thanks for joining us.
He's open to immigration. He's for gay marriage. He's for, what else is he for? He is pro-women, despite the fact that all the feminists run around.
Oh, Alfonso, I hope you checked out that whole Trump v. Canada show that I did last week. Got good amount of views on that, so do check that out. I did it last week, and that was because of you. Shout out to our man Alfonso. Let's go.
I'll say that he's not. He actually is. His chief of staff is a female. His attorney general, Pam Bondi, is a female. And the attorney general is the most powerful law enforcement position in the fucking land. She's the attorney general. So anyone that says on this bullshit about like, oh, Trump is sexist and he doesn't respect women, you're fucking crazy. He's for women. He's for abortion. He's actually for abortion. He just doesn't want to publicly acknowledge that because his voter base would get mad at him.
And his press secretary is a woman. Think about that. Let's continue.
So he delegated to the states. Good political strategy. But yeah, man. I mean, if you actually look at Trump's
His nominee for Homeland Security Director is also one.
policies, I would argue he is center right. He's center right. He's very similar to like Tim Pool. I consider Tim Pool center right too.
I think when he got back in society, man, God helped a lot of structure and as well religion. But we've gone so far away, like.
Yeah, he's also not religious, which is another reason why I think why he's more center right as well.
Yeah. He didn't put his hand on the Bible.
Yeah, I peeped that.
That was
I peeped that.
Different.
Yeah, I think his wife held the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Different. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
So.
All right.
Girls are just like, well, why would I ever? Or I seen some clip of these girls talking about like, why would I ever try to get a regular job? If I was hot, I could just make money on OnlyFans.
That's not personally where my place came from. It was more like I found a passion that I could make money from it. It wasn't like I really want to make a ton of money, like fuck having a normal job or anything like that. I just kind of like really enjoyed the creative aspect of it. And I was doing it already for free, so I thought, why not try and make a bit of money from
doing it for free. That's how they.
I also believe that like.
Don't believe that for a second. The fact of the matter is she could make easy money doing something that would give her attention and adulation. That's all it is. Remember the story. She went into her class regarding kinesiology class. She went in there. She couldn't sign into the class during COVID. She saw OnlyFans. She said, let me sign up. And she's been doing corn ever since. Let it be said, she's not one for hard work. Let's continue.
Pause.
Say.
Remember on the show we talk about questions regarding getting paid for activities, including sex.
Mm-hmm.
And girls always say, well, the question is, would you rather get paid for sex or do it for free?
Mm-hmm.
And they always slight towards getting paid. They may say, oh, for free, but then they're like, wait, no, I want to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine entering OnlyFans with that. They want to get paid. So I think a lot of people would argue that like getting paid for sex is disgusting. It's legal, by the way. But for them, it's like, sex for free or get paid. Look at her, bro. She wants to get paid for activities she did in private. So I think on some level, a lot of girls would say yes, well, behind closed doors, but they're either shamed to not do it or their principles are family. But if you have none of that, no morals, you're going to go do it. So Exhibit A, Lily. So kind of scary.
It is kind of scary that a woman with a mother and father at home literally decided to forego their teachings and virtues and warnings and literally did it herself. So, she's already cooked. She's already fried. Let's continue.
But that's what it is. All right, let's continue.
Alcohol. A lot of people have alcoholism and alcohol problems. People don't then blame the shop. Like the liquor store that you guys have here. People don't go and blame them. You know what I mean? Like it's hard because so many people blame OnlyFans girls for like people being like addicted to porn and things like that. And it's like we wouldn't do that with alcohol shops. So why are we doing it with?
Yeah, I guess it's tough because the internet makes all this so much more complicated because people can sit behind whatever paywall they're going to and they could lie about their age. And like a lot of these like just younger kids who are actually coming and actually buying this content, that it's just not good.
Yeah, I do agree that it should be like stricter, especially with Pornhub. Like you can just search up Pornhub.
Yeah,
you're on the website. There's no like
it's
ID
like, oh
check.
yeah, I'm 18. It's like, I remember when I was a kid, I wasn't 18. I was clicking, I was 18.
Yeah, same.
So-
13. What's this?
So that's what I'm saying. Like that whole conversation is like, I genuinely think it's not good. For people.
I do kind of agree, like slightly. I don't know. I also think like we shouldn't put all the blame on like the porn websites. It should also just be like.
Yes, exactly. Of course she's going to say that because she doesn't want to ruin her money. She does not want things to be taken away in terms of an income stream. Lord knows she would much rather a young man take his mother or father's credit card and charge up her OnlyFans to raise the amount of money that she can make. So she doesn't want to do without the industry entirely. She's very, very willing to allow these kids to deal in skullduggerous acts as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. But she has to come out and say, okay, that I know it's wrong, but it shouldn't outlaw it. You shouldn't. Again, it's like betting. Indeed, it is something that that shouldn't be outlawed. But again, you're contributing to someone's addiction, so it is a negative thing. But you'd rather take the money than help the person with their addiction, because it's a revenue stream not only for the companies themselves but for governments now. Let's continue.
Take care of
But I
yourself.
think if we're gonna like ban something, like maybe
I'd say
it
put
should,
an
like,
ID check on porn websites.
like an actual one,
Yeah,
not
like-
just like yes I am.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I see what you're saying. The point of like, you know,
They might
everyone's
not.
to their own.
They're probably not familiar with it because they live in California, but Florida has it now.
Okay, so you got to put your ID in before you could.
Yeah,
watch it?
because California's a blue state, so you know them niggas is all kinds of bullshit.
And you know that Canada is a blue country, to be fair. So, and I don't mean conservative. Let's continue.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I think that's a. I think didn't most of the porn offices leave Florida?
No.
I know there was some of them down here, but they might have left.
Anybody here watches corn still?
I make my own.
Yeah, I mean my own.
Let's keep going.
But not for internet.
Accord, but I think now, like, just the world now is so easy to just get wrapped up in it, whether it's like not necessarily this particular, but
And to be fair, Cornhub is, well, owned by a Canadian. Fun fact.
anything that people see and they think it's okay, so they just, you know, so and so you say it's okay, and some of the girls like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too because I feel the same way. I just think, like, where does it all go though? You know, where does it end up? It just seems like we're just fucking just destroying ourselves.
I also think, like, how sexualized is everything gonna get? Because obviously, I feel like through time, like social media, you see Twitter, you go on Twitter, you just see porn, don't you?
Yeah.
And like through time, everything's got so much more like heavy sexualized. Like you see it everywhere, like girls' tits and like just everything. And it's like, when is it gonna get to that point where it's like we can't show? How do I explain this? It's like so sexualized that like people's pussies are just like on TV.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
Like, will there be a pinnacle where then we become like more?
I say we're already there,
again?
bro. I'd
Yeah, I mean,
honestly say
like-
we're already there.
You think so?
Yeah, pretty much. Girls like on Instagram, bro. It's literally like softcore porn on there.
Remember, corn is readily available on your phone. You can take it and you can bring it anywhere, take it anywhere, use see it wherever you please, as long as it's out of prying eyes. Corn's everywhere. It's in your pocket. Once, as we stated last week on Talk Live, corn is once something that you had to go to great lengths to get. Now it's readily available on your phone, available 24/7 wherever you are. So you're hardwired for corn. So that's why we're getting a lot of these, EDs and a lot of these, these incel varieties of men. Let's continue.
I think Twitter is definitely.
Oh yeah, Twitter's like full on, bro. Like that's just
Scary.
crazy.
As I said about Twitter.
Yeah.
I have like a filter on my shit, so I don't see none of that bullshit.
You know what I do know when I meet a chick? I look at her TikTok and X just to make sure. Because, bro, you know what's funny with Instagram? You only see obviously what they want you to see.
Yeah.
So
X is the real shit.
Bro.
Twitter will let you know, bro.
I tell you, I met a chick at the gym, right? Bad as hell, cute, amazing, body, bro. My homeboy's like, yo, look at her ex. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, bro,
Yeah.
no way. Her ex, bro.
Yeah, let's keep it 1,000. A lot of niggas, they're not gonna be on X. Too a low IQ,
bro.
They're on Instagram surfing for bitches. They're not on Twitter doing that shit.
I could not believe what I saw on
Yeah.
that. I was like, bro.
Yeah, man.
We're cooked. Society's cooked, man.
Twitter is literally like a porn site on the low if you
and the TikTok.
if you use it that way.
It is. Elon Musk has made it very, very easily. Has made porn very, very easy to access and readily viewable on X. Free piece, run amok. Let's continue.
They tell you the dating experiences on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, why did he go?
TikTok is kind of like Twitter's kind of like TikTok when it comes to like what you look at. If you start looking at corn on X, all you're gonna see is corn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
That's why it's important for all you guys that like are interested. Because like, let's be honest, TikTok, X is mostly for political discourse and news. But if you go on there looking for corn, you're gonna find it. And if you keep watching, it's only gonna be that. So now if like that shit ever comes up on my shit, I blocked all the niggas that like repost that shit, man. Just block them, and then boom, you cleaned your feet up immediately.
Yeah. And then with TikTok, for example, you can have a girl and she'll expose her deepest, darkest secrets to her friends, basically, or to get clout, and you can tell a lot about her from her TikTok.
Yeah.
Which means funny. It's like also, you know, when rappers snitch on themselves in the songs, it's like girls do that on TikTok.
Yep. They
Hilarious.
They do.
Hilarious, bro.
They really do.
Crazy.
It's easy. Yes, I mean it's very, again, as fresh and fit so excellently put. A way to find out about a woman is to find out about her social feed. Find out through her Instagram. Find out through her ex. Find out through her TikTok what she's into. Because again, if she's selling her booty hole online for $3.99, or if she's getting, or if she's, out there with a for sale sign advertising and she's your girl, then it can easily readily be seen on her TikTok, X, or Instagram page. And if she's not willing for you to see her actual page, you got a problem. Let's continue.
They really do, man. Yeah, so it's wild. Right?
Morning, but I think we're getting to that point where people are just like, I think it's doing more harm than it's doing good. And I think there's obviously a lot of women that, they're...
We're going to move on a little bit further into the conversation here just to speed things up. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're now going to get into a part of the discussion where we discussed, indeed, the lady in question from Turkey, the OnlyFans lady who followed on from Lily Phillips' escapade on OnlyFans. Let's continue.
To reach that amount of we talk about the girls who was like, some chicks, I made $4 million, whatever. It's like she's not. There's zero chance that girl. We don't have to have the conversation about it. We don't even have to talk about it. That she's answering all those messages. So then this weird parasocial relationship that they're having with a person that they'll likely never meet. They'll never actually talk to. They're not actually talking to, but they're like emptying their bank accounts.
I mean, what's different about me is I do meet them and I do give them that more personal thing, and the guys actually get to fuck me. So
it's a little.
And see, that's the problem, because you get these personal guys who have not been. Well, they have. They have STI checks, but at the end of the day, they could be still carrying dormant STI diseases. So we have to watch out for Lily the next 5 to 10 years to see if she develops anything, and we don't even know where the source is. This is the problem with this lady. That's why she's cooked. That's why we consider her cooked in male spaces. Let's continue.
Well, I mean, it's a little different, but it's like, and then you talk about, or I see, then the copycat people, and it's like, it's weird. It's like this is like becoming some sort of.
Well, did you see that woman just got arrested in Turkey?
Yeah, I did. I saw. I didn't know if that was real or not. I saw that
idea.
clip though, of a girl who was. I guess she was gonna do something. I don't know if it was similar, but
Yeah, she was gonna fuck 100 guys for OnlyFans.
Yeah, so look what you're doing. You don't ever. But you're not like.
With her man as being the producer and director of the scene. Let's continue.
W Turkey. I tweeted about this, actually. W fucking Turkey. I think I could find the clip somewhere. Yeah, guys, Turkish law enforcement arrested a chick for trying to do one of these stunts. Right?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
That's a fucking W, bro. That is a W. Because they understand the societal ramifications of this bullshit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, you want to be a degenerate, that's fine. But don't fucking broadcast it out to the internet. You know what I mean?
They're making it cool, which is weird.
One thing that Trump did, actually, one of his executive orders, he made a one flag policy. Only American flags, no trans and rainbow, none of that shit. Which I agree. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One flag, motherfuckers. We don't need to put rainbow flags and trans flags, all this other bullshit. Like, I'm tired of seeing other flags being flown in the United States. Should be the American flag and then the state flag. That's it. I don't even like state flags, to be honest with you, a lot of the times. So, this whole...
See, that's the difference between right-wing and center-right, as Donald Trump is. Donald Trump will still allow for different flags to fly. It's just that not on his watch, and he'll be more restrictive of that in terms of things. But he'll let the flags fly for a certain day, but he'll cut that out straight afterwards. He's not letting the alphabet gang rule him. Let's continue.
Bullshit of inclusivity, etc. It dilutes nationalism. Okay? And despite the fact that people say, well, Byron, nationalism is bad. Oh, so being a patriot is bad? Putting your country first is bad? Being super fucking, proud of where you come from is bad? And that's where we are now. You got socialists like Lasan Abi saying, oh, nationalism is toxic, as if socialism is better. Fuck that shit. Like, we need to go back to being nationalists, caring about our country. The problem is that America wants to police and give all this aid to all these other countries that don't give a fuck about us. They just take our money.
See, again, this is more of a sideways step towards... See, nationalism is a slippery slope between nationalism and right-wing politics. And, racist, xenophobic ways, which, it don't exactly agree with me somewhat. But, again, Myron is very, very much into this. But he is all about free speech, but he's very much into this. And again, as he previously raised, he believes that society should not be so debaucherous as to allow these sort of OF sexual escapades to continue within a country and debase that country as it has been in Turkey, as it has been in the Western world. And I'm in agreement with that. I am in agreement with that. There's a time and a place for corn, and it isn't for the wider viewing audience, quite simply. And it's not to debase the society. And there's a time and place. There is a time and place, and clearly Turkey knew the time and knew the place. Let's continue.
Right? Take our resources. Fuck that shit, man. Nationalism is good. It should only be the American flag. You got to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Like shit like that. But whatever. Let's keep going. It's funny, man, how the wokies have been trying to bastardize the term that where love for your country is looked at as bad. Keep going. What am I doing? Like,
you know what? I do stuff for me, and I do stuff because, like, I know I'm going to enjoy this, and I don't do it for the money, so I know.
But you do it for the money.
I don't think.
Because you just said earlier that you were in college and you were going to do this, but then you're like, fuck it, I can make money doing this.
No, I meant as in.
Bitch, you do it for the money. Because I guarantee you weren't having sex with 100 dudes in a day when you weren't getting paid for it. So now that you are getting paid for it, you exacerbate the onus for what? Profitability. You understand that having sex with 100 dudes in one day is extremely controversial and get people talking about you. That notoriety brings in curiosity. That curiosity brings in customers, and they subscribe to your OnlyFans. So the bottom line is, yes, you are doing it for money. Stop lying. There's a big difference between just being a typical thought, banging some dudes at the bar from a drunken night out versus systematically planning and executing a mass gangbang at some random niggas Airbnb and recording it for the internet. It's not the same. That is deliberate, manifested, and organized thoughterry.
Absolutely right there. That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen, especially gentlemen. Do not let it twisted. This is just another form of prostitution. This woman is doing this for money. This woman is doing this for tout, attention, adulation. Let it not be. Don't say that she's not doing this for the love and sheer, and sheer research purposes. No, this is done so that she can earn money, so that she doesn't have to go to school, so that she doesn't have to make a living, so that she doesn't have to have a career. Her career is sex. This is how she makes it. This is how she differentiates herself from the competition, and this is how she makes her money. Let it not be twisted. She is not going. Don't let her pull the wool over your eyes. This woman is indeed not here for the best of intentions, not here for just simply the experience. She's here to make money. Simply put. End of. And if you think different, you're wrong. And if you think, she's doing it for sexual liberation or for some feminist ideal, you're wrong. No, she is doing this for a prostitutory purpose. She's showing her booty hole online for $3.99. She's having sex, having corn sex with 100 men for a reason, and that is for profit. Plain and simple. And you can't tell any man of a certain awakening of a red pill any different. Let's continue.
Okay? So you are doing it for the money.
Yeah, that PR stunt was definitely well laid out. I know people that didn't know who she was, and I know who she is, and that is everybody and kids alike.
Yeah, because I promise you, she wasn't smashing 100 niggas in a day, even on her best days of being a thought.
That's
she
right.
was doing 100.
Yeah.
So that's a lie. You are doing it for the money.
Also, nobody would care if you weren't on OnlyFans publicly. So
yeah,
it'd be a brag to yourself and no money to gain.
Chat, we cooking today or what, man?
Definitely are. Got 4K on YouTube and 3K on Rumble.
I found a way that I could make money doing a hobby, doing something I enjoyed doing. So I thought, why not? Like, that is the dream now. Like, do something you love and never work a day in your life.
Yeah. I guess.
Like, if you could make money.
She's doing money and she's getting paid for it. What else can you say?
Pause.
You know, doing this.
I always question when they say work, passion, they love this. Last time I checked, sex wasn't work. It was actually a gift from God between man and woman to commune to have kids. As far as I know, it wasn't a job to do, especially legally. So they say that's work to me is weird. But then again, that's where they argue, oh, it just works. So if I smash guys for work.
Coming back here for a second, coming back for the final hour here on Talk Live. Final hour here on Talk Live. We're just going to finish up a bit more of this chat from Fashion Fit regarding Lily Phillips and her conversation with Bradley Martin. And we're going to sum up. And we'll be back tomorrow night on Talk Live. But stay with us. Final hour coming up. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on IG, YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're into our third hour here. We're just going to set up the Instagram. Here we go. Back again for our third hour here on Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, indeed. Back here on Fresh and Fit. Fresh was saying something here. We're discussing the Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips OF Race to the Bottom. Part 2, the physical, psychological, and red pill aspects of such an endeavor. And we're into the red pill aspects of things through Fresh and Fit, and they're giving their take on the whole escapade of 100 ladies by Lily Phillips. She's already advertising for 1,000 men to come and run through her, quite simply, which is mad, simply mad. After the psychological she told, you can look at it on my previous show on Talk Live, that she took a serious psychological toll, and what psychological tolls she took by being involved in this corn star escapade. What sort of physical issues she can look forward to going forward in her life, and how indeed she might try to escape her past through wiping her previous history. But listen, the internet is forever. Let's continue with this into the final hour. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk live at IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into this. Finish it up with Fresh and Fit.
You can't match other girls. Enter Nick. But then again, you know,
Nick Naracina.
I just find it funny.
Nick Cuccarina.
That's
his real name.
They call it work when it's not actually work. It's just sex.
Could you imagine? She got I talked about this on Twitter. She got mad, bro. Sky Breed, this fucking thought. She got mad because he was talking to other girls in a YouTube video. So let me get chat. There's this girl. Her name is Sky Breed. She's a porn star. She's dating this YouTuber guy named Nick Cuccarina. I mean Naracina, right? And basically they have this relationship. And obviously he came on the show and I warned him, like, bro, why are you with a fucking porn star? What the fuck wrong with you, man? I told him this shit off camera, right? Privately. Right? Because he's a dumb 20-year-old that doesn't know anything. He's a dumb frat bro. Don't know shit. And he doesn't understand that these decisions that he's making now are going to come to haunt him later. But anyway, I digress. So she's on a podcast with him, or she does her own stream, whatever it may be. It's multiple shows. But the long story short, bottom line is this. She gets angry when he talks to other girls on his YouTube videos, right? He does like stunts and shit like that, right? Talks to girls. She gets angry about him for that. And she even admitted that she cried knowing that he's doing this shit. And then in my head, I'm like, wait, hold on one second. You're fucking mad at him for talking to bitches on a YouTube video, but niggas could go on the hub and see you getting banged out by black dudes? Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
That's when you know that that there's not been a good father in one's life on both parts, on both Nick Naracina and also on Sky Bree. I mean, Sky Bree shouldn't be getting involved in porn, period. And a good father should be telling Nick Naracina, you shouldn't be sleeping or wifing up this girl. Quite simply, you should not have a romantic interest in this girl because she is taking literal pipe from other men for a fee. and you are dating a online, well, lady of the night, to put it nicely, and that you shouldn't be involved with this woman in the first place. And I'm sure not only his father, but also his brother, mother, anyone would have told him that, but he decided to do it, and he is being, as they say, cucked because of it. Let's continue.
Fucking serious? This nigga over here talking to some fives on YouTube that probably won't fuck him because he's a cuck. Meanwhile, you're getting fucked by a Nigerian?
Iron_S_Iron tipped $35.
Let's move forward here.
45 woke up.
Let's move on here. They're just doing a bit of a thing here. Seeing any super chats that may be involved here. So let's move down to 117 and have a final say from Fresh and Fit regarding the subject, and let's continue.
All right. Join Cats Club, niggas. We're going to have a free Zoom call after this, by the way, too. Let's keep going. We're cooking right now.
You got 8K watching, basically.
Yep.
All right. Talking, gym content.
Yeah.
Yeah, why the hell not?
But for sure, I just think what that adds to society, like if some guy's like, oh man, I want to better my life, I want to get in shape because I like whatever I see, or I want to eat healthier and better my body. This, like, we're talking about the same thing, but like one is very detrimental and then one is like actually kind of aspirational.
I mean, I don't think of mine as detrimental. I'm doing charity work out here. I'm sure some of these guys haven't fucked in 10, 20 years.
But that's like
I'm doing charity work.
She's coping, ladies and gentlemen. That's the true sign of cope, when she is saying that she's doing charity work, when she's literally getting run through by a group of gentlemen who, well, who are hard up for her, literally. It's laughable, as you can see here, that she considers this therapeutic to not only to the gentleman, but also to herself. Mad indeed. Let's continue.
But that's like the thing. Remember we talked about, we were with Candace and Steiny, but that's the thing that's almost like you kind of have to say, otherwise it's like people would be less interested in coming to support or to purchase or to be a part of whatever these escapades are. And if you didn't say that, then people would be like, oh, she doesn't actually like this, I don't want to support this. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, how actually genuine do you think you're doing a good thing? Is it like a net negative or a net positive to, like,
I'm not saying
or you just don't care?
No. I'm not saying I'm helping out society. I'm not saying like I'm doing the world good and things like that. I'm just saying I'm doing what I want and enjoying what I want, and I don't like. I've never claimed to be an influencer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just my life, and I'm sharing it on the internet.
So you don't ever think about, like, if it's hurting other people or fucking other people. It doesn't matter to you.
The thing is, though, I've always like preached that women shouldn't follow what I do. What I do is extreme, and I do it because I enjoy it, and I don't want to like force other girls to do this at all. I've had so many girls message me saying, like, should I start OnlyFans? And I've always preached, like, you need to have a real good thing, because this will change your life. It's not all good things, you know. Society sees you in such a different way. You're going to have your relationships with all your friends and your family are going to change.
You know the issue with this?
There are downsides to this job, 100.
So many girls have followed her after her PR stunt. I know a couple that actually followed her that do OF, and I'm like, why are you following this chick? Oh, because she's popping right now. And that's all I care about. You being popping and you being in the limelight. At the cost of your morals, standards, and beliefs, that is what they see her being popping, and that's all they care about. So, listen, she may say she doesn't approve of this and she doesn't want people to do this, but her, by default, having this PR stunt and being who she is, what she's about, indirectly or directly adds to her fame, and people want to follow her because she's famous now for this. So, she may say she says no, but she say yes in real time. Sad.
Cooked, man.
So. Yeah.
We are cooked, chat.
Yeah, society's cooked, bro.
Indeed, society is cooked unless we stop things and really regulate things regarding corn, because it is ever pervasive now, and people are becoming more debaucherous by the day, and it clearly shows, and we're being led down a very, very slippery slope to you know, a very meeker existence, to say the least. Let's continue.
Especially to women out here.
100%. And I very much, you know, tell them the pros and the cons and let them make their own decision.
Yeah. Should we just not let them make their own decisions then anymore?
What do you mean?
I'm kind of like the red pill guy, so they just not make decisions anymore because they're making bad ones.
Oh, yeah, there'll be some girls that choose not to do it, though, if I tell them, I think, like, all the pros and the cons.
So you are an influencer.
I'll be a lot more blunt about this. Of course, you know, Brad is practicing some decorum, which is fine. But no, we do need to take it away. We do. There's a reason why arranged marriages have been a thing, guys, for centuries. Your parents are always going to look out in your best interest. When you leave sexual selection up to women, they typically screen for the traits that aren't good for their long-term security.
Yeah.
For
Dark triad traits, as he'll explain.
example, girls, when they're hot and have the highest sexual market value, they typically want the bad boy. The bad boy, however, is not going to be a good long-term partner. Bad boy comes in, has sex with her, uses her, creates emotional trauma, leaves her worse off than when you met her.
Yeah.
She goes and meets another bad boy. This happens again and again and again.
Scammer, drug dealer.
Exactly. It's not until she's lost a significant amount of her value at 30 years old plus that she wakes up and realizes, damn, I need to find a guy that I can consolidate on that actually has some kind of security. But by then, her value's dropped off so precipitously that any guy that, has value is not going to want to go ahead and do this exchange because this exchange puts him at a negative area. So that's where women end up in this weird catch-22 situation where they're not able to get the man that they want anymore. And that, my friends, is the life of a modern woman a lot of the times.
Excellent point, and I've been raising it here on Talk Live ever since I've started this show. Women such as this will always look for dark triad men who not only can be considered, those who can protect and provide, but those who have a sort of a dark side to them, mean streak to them, a sort of a street cred to them. That gives these ladies a bit of excitement, a bit of dread that they're looking for, especially when they're at their sexual peak and prime. The only thing about it is that these girls are used and abused, and at the end of the day, they're not treated well. And with that mistreatment, they blame all men, and when they blame all men, then they have this mistrust of men to a point where they end up alone, in which, in due course, 50% of women will be single by 2030, and that's why we are here now to advocate for, as Myron said, more arranged marriages where families come in, choose the men for these ladies, and basically provide them with a better life of protection and provision, and men who will truly care for them at the end of the day. But with feminism being as rife as it is, and women being allowed to make the choices as they wish, they keep making bad choices, and so we are in this vicious cycle once again and again and again with a lot of women, to a point where there are a lot of distraught and destroyed women, and some will run to the alphabet gang, some will not, but a lot of them will leave very much psychologically and potentially physically damaged. Let's continue.
Cooked.
And the guy that would have been good for her, the lame in the square, ends up being...
And again, let me say this. I do not wish this on any woman at all. I do not wish that on any woman whatsoever. I wish for their better angels, for their greater happiness. And, I hope that they seek the help and they seek the counseling and they seek the guidance that they deserve so that they live healthy, fruitful, and plentiful lives, being wives, mothers, career women, whatever they wish. But it's coming to a point where these women are becoming too maladjusted, and it's due to the choices that they make in romantic and sexual means. Let's continue.
Last choice after they ran through.
The three major Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all practice arranged marriages to some degree. Why is that? Because they knew, and even other cultures, they knew that arranged marriages are the way to keep your daughter from fucking her own life up. That's what the brother and the father were for. We pick your fucking mate. Can he take care of you? Is he a good man? That's what we care about. Because we don't give a fuck about you needing to get your FOMO satisfied in your 20s.
That's a real thing. FOMO's a real thing, bro.
It's a real... Dude.
It's a real thing.
Fear of missing out. I don't think you guys understand how bad fear of missing out is for women.
I know girls that otherwise would not have gone on a certain path that have done OnlyFans and P because they don't want to miss out. Their friends are doing it.
Yep.
The homegirl's doing it. They're getting money. Oh, I don't want to miss out. And then they end up like her or even
guys,
worse.
FOMO
is real.
Is the fear of missing out is the key ingredient in the degradation of modern women. One more time for you guys. Somebody go ahead and clip this shit. Go on TikTok. Let's go viral. Fear of missing out, also known as FOMO, is the key ingredient in the degradation of modern Western women. The key fucking ingredient, man. I'm telling y'all, man, like it is what precipitates the poor behavior, poor sexual decisions, poor decisions to use drugs, alcohol, etc. It all comes from the fear of missing out, which is fueled by peer pressure of her friends and peer pressure from society
Social
and
media
peer
too.
pressure from social media.
TikTok.
How are they in Dubai traveling and shit?
Instagram.
How's she on this private jet? Oh my God, that lifestyle looks so great. I want that too.
Snapchat. Everything.
All of this fuels the fucking degeneracy that you guys see with modern day women. Fear of missing out is quite literally the most destructive, the most pervasive, the most fucked up ingredient that is played to the degradation of the Western society and the destruction of the nuclear family.
Now, excellent point raised there by Myron. I would add, just to make things fair and balanced, that fear of missing out not only accounts there in of accounts with regards to females debauchery and female dysfunction with regards to relationships, with regards to use of avenues such as OnlyFans, X, and Instagram to aggrandize themselves, because they're not going to raise their money on their own. They're not going to work hard for it. So they're going to always want to seek and do other things in order to achieve a lifestyle that other women have. And that includes, making them sexually degrading themselves. But not only continues in those environs, but also in for men and also for women in the gym space, and in the fitness space, in terms of using of performance enhancing drugs in order to gain muscle and gain notoriety from said muscle, even though it may indeed kill you. And the same goes with this here. These ladies are using their feminine wiles. They're using their youth, their beauty, their fertility, and they're wasting it for some sort of monetary return. And in doing so, they wish to have the lifestyle that that other women have, but not knowing that these women had to do a lot of nasty, debaucherous things in order, and sexually charged things, darn near prostitution, in order to get what they want to get and have the lifestyle they want to live at a young age. Let's continue.
Guys, after this, we're doing a Zoom call on Castle Club. I'll tell you a story about a girl that had FOMO that ruined her life, and literally, she's almost homeless right now.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But I'll tell
you didn't even tell me about that.
I know, but this is Castle Club only.
Okay, well, I'll leave them to Castle Club, and you can subscribe to Castle Club too if you want to. I'm doing a little promo for Fresh and Fit in and of itself. They're doing a rather wonderful service there. But thank you very much to Fresh and Fit for their take on this, on Lily Phillips and her conversation with Bradley Martin on Raw Talk with regards to her, her 100 men sexual escapade that went on there. But let's bring it back to myself here on Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's sum this up quite simply, because it is going on 11:30. As we go back to the full camp, bang. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live. Ladies and gentlemen, let it be said, I'm just going to turn this camera just a little further down. The Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue battle is something that women should not aspire to at all. Any upstanding woman should not be exposing themselves, booty hole, vagina et al., getting into any positions et al., in order to, gain a name for themselves. They should stay far away from that as possible. And that includes listening to your parents and having them decide in time certain men in your life, keeping your body count low, and not being involved in any such event or initiative or exploitative actions as such, because it's a road that leads to nowhere, and it leads to sullying your reputation for not only days, months, and years to come. It also leads to psychological damage that you may not escape from, and that may force you to end yourself. It leads to physical diseases that you cannot cure, and it's just a lonely, desolate, and terrible road that these ladies don't realize now, but they'll realize in future, because the internet is never changing, never ending, and it is something that will always reveal the truth about oneself, especially when it comes to their past. So I would advocate for young ladies to keep their past off the internet, keep their features off the internet, unless you really want to reveal yourself as being a debaucherous individual or having sexual freedoms and such. But it'll never lead to the man you want. It'll never lead to the life you want. And at the end of the day, there is the road to hell is paved with, in this case, bad intentions. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live here. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be discussing a lot of strides being made by black men in the financial world. And we'll be discussing that tomorrow night on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for joining me on this show and this second part of the battle between Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue. This is going up on Instagram and on Instagram right now, but it'll be on YouTube right away, and we'll have a Talk Live minute uploaded shortly on this. So again, do stay tuned for that. But I thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live, and we'll be back tomorrow night with a new show and a new topic altogether with, and especially when it comes to black men. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live, and we'll be discussing. We will be seeing you tomorrow. And good night from Instagram from Toronto. And thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live here on YouTube. This is going to be uploaded right away. Thank you very much for joining me. And some of the debates, some of the comments that we've had here tonight, I really appreciate. And we're going to continue the conversation tomorrow.